Hello, welcome to Ascension Arcana Tarot. This is Christine with a general random reading. This is a general collective reading, so as always, please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. I don't usually pull readings on Saturdays. I was actually about to head out the door to go do some fun stuff, and I felt called to pull a reading, so I'm going to do that right quick before I head out. God, what message do you have for this collective today? And the Ten of Wands on the bottom. It's interesting. I feel like I've been pulling that energy a lot. The Five of Wands. The Five of Wands for me is like that squabbling energy, right? Just some sort of internal disagreement. Could be some ego chatter. Could be disagreement within yourself, or it could be maybe some clashy energy that you're having in a relationship. The Knight of Swords, the Nine of Wands, and the Four of Wands. I feel like whatever this squabbling energy is, it's going to be reaching a resolution. This row very strongly, the flow of the energy for me shows you coming to a good place with this. I am feeling this as a relationship reading. So that's kind of funny because I think it was this past Wednesday when I pulled the relationship reading. It was actually a really deep spiritual reading just about what you as my viewer are healing through. So I'm wondering if that's why this is coming up. This feels very relationship related. So now that I'm kind of getting that message, let me go back and clarify this. This Five of Wands card, it's feeling to me like it could be, like I keep using that word squabbling, and it's funny, even just the way that the word sounds, like squawking, like birds squawking at each other. So I feel like I'm seeing these two birds like, and they're like squawking at each other, but not saying anything even productive. Is just sort of like this grumpy, upset energy being vented towards each other. So this could either be your internal chatter, you kind of squawking back and forth at yourself about something that's going on with your partner that's maybe upsetting or irritating you, or it could be you and your partner kind of squabbling back and forth with each other. But this Knight of Swords card, he is always an energy of incoming clarity. He favors the truth and being forthcoming and straightforward versus an energy of maybe kind of caring more about someone's feelings or like how that truth might come across to someone, right? So I'm feeling, especially with his sword being raised overhead like that and gleaming, and even this owl, that energy of like wisdom and change kind of glancing down at him, I feel like he really is just taking that sword of truth and sort of slicing it through the situation, right? Which in this case feels like a really good thing. It's almost like what I'm seeing is these two birds like squawking at each other, right? And then there's like a third bird that comes in with an air horn and it's like for like 2 minutes. And these birds are just sitting there and they like look up at this other bird with the air horn and they look back at each other. And they look back at this guy and they look back at each other. And I feel like just the shock, it's like almost like this shock value that's kind of cutting through this pattern that you're playing out of squabbling, again, whether that's like within your own consciousness or with your partner. The shock value of having that just slice through with the truth, right? I feel like you kind of just look at each other and it causes you to kind of go within a little bit and take a moment, have a pause. And I feel like within that pause, the truth can start to simmer and the love can start to simmer and the energy can start to kind of flow again instead of this jabby like back and forth. This is really funny. I'm seeing this reading with like Muppets. I hope my hand puppets are doing it justice. This situation is not funny. I feel the irritation here. You are very irritated. I feel that there's like a fiery stirred up, like I even said simmer, right? I feel like right now you're like this boiling over cauldron, right? But then when that sword kind of slices through, it's able to give you a pause and the boiling kind of like comes down. The Nine of Wands here, this is really interesting. Yeah, he's just sort of like, he's that energy of taking a pause. So here's this wall, right? And the did I call it the Nine of Swords? I don't know if I just misspoke there. That's kind of funny. If I did, well, I guess even that I'm bringing it up now, there could be a lot of anxiety around this. I feel like the Knight of Swords would say to be taking some logic and like diffusing that anxiety. I had a reading about that. Gosh, it was the other day. I think it was maybe the one that I released on Halloween, maybe around that Nine of Swords energy. So if that resonates for you, maybe watch that one. There might be something helpful there. But anyways, this is not the Nine of Swords. This is the Nine of Wands. And I feel like with the Nine of Wands, right, he's that wounded warrior where he's been carrying a burden. We had that that 10 of Wands card at the bottom, right, when we started. So he's been carrying that heavy, heavy, heavy burden. There's like one more wand that's going to be added to that, but he's feeling that weight. He's feeling that effort, right? And it's like he just needs to take a break. I feel that heaviness, that squabbling, that squawking at each other, it's causing a weight. It's causing like this, like a backed up feeling, almost like your pipes are clogged in your plumbing or something, right? A backed up, like weighty feeling where the energy is not flowing. And again, that's where I'm feeling that Knight of Swords, where like if he was your plumber, the Knight of Swords, and you've got like a clog in your pipe, I feel like he takes his sword and he just slices your pipe open. And like now maybe you have to fix the pipe, but at least the water is flowing. Like the flow is back open and the problem can be solved. And maybe there's something that like needed to be taken out, right? That the pipe had to be cut. I don't know why I'm getting like all these kind of funny analogies here, but I feel that there's like a clog in the pipe that this dude's going to cut the pipe open, take the clog out, and then you guys can like kind of fix the pipe. The Four of Wands card is so sweet. I like how in this deck it's actually like a little family and there's like these little rabbits, like the flowers blossoming, and the dragonfly for me is very much a symbol of transformation. So I resonate with him as like beginning in the water, right? Dragonflies start their life by when their eggs are like laid in the water. But then as they mature, they turn into like air creatures, right? So I always think that's really cool, kind of maybe moving from like the depths of the emotions, getting some logic and some clarity on like whatever this like the upset is, right? That energy. This guy with the logic coming in, cutting the pipe, and you guys can see what was in there. You're like, oh, that's where that toy went, or like whatever it was that's kind of clogging this up. And then being able to mend that together, being able to come back together, that sort of transformation from that sort of emotional back and forth to like a more logical place. This feels really nice. And I feel like everyone's going to be happy about that. So I feel like the energy of your partnership, it's a safe place where you can have this squabble, you can have this disagreement, and kind of get shocked into recognizing the pattern that you're playing out with each other, right? And then really being able to heal that, being able to come back together in like a really, really peaceful, loving way. It feels really beautiful. That Four of Wands card, oh, this is really funny. I'll show you the bottom of the deck in a minute. The Four of Wands card here, it's a card of like joyful surprises. So I almost am feeling this energy like this is a blessing, even though it feels horrible right now and being in that energy does not feel good. When you guys have this like moment of insight or moment of clarity, moment of like the truth, right? Kind of slicing into the situation, being able to put that burden down and heal it together will make your connection stronger. It increases the love, it increases the peace, it increases the connection between you and your relationship. And even feeling like the rabbits, it's like increasing the passion, right? Like I'm sure you guys know that, I don't know what you call it, like expression, right? Of like going at it like bunnies. Like they're very passionate little creatures for such innocent looking things. I feel like that energy is here for a reason. And even like the red of the wands, kind of that fire, right? That passion, it's feeling like that kind of leveling up to a new level of physical intimacy, spiritual intimacy, emotional intimacy, and even that like intellectual intimacy, right? That's a really, really cool energy. And all just out of this little squabble. The reason I was saying I'll show you the bottom of the deck is because it's the Ace of Swords. It's completely that energy of clarity that I was feeling from the Knight of Swords. Yeah, that's really cool. Incoming clarity. I feel like I will probably put that in the title of this video because I'm feeling that energy very strongly. Let's see if there's any more messages for us here at the bottom. Do you have anything else to say about this situation for this collective today, God? Yep, I just got a little chunk of that. Five of Swords and the Queen of Cups. Yeah, this resonates on a couple of levels. So the Five of Swords card in tarot, right, is this figure who has kind of won at the cost of others. He may have cheated, he may have played dirty. There's usually that energy there where he didn't really play fair or play by the rules. He does not care about the, playing fair or kind of the people who he defeated. He doesn't really care at all about their well-being, their feelings, the families that have now lost their father figures here, like in the card. He just cares that like he's the champion and he did it, right? So I feel like, well, let me say this too with the Queen of Cups. So she is like such a completely opposite energy from him. And I'm really drawn to the fact that she even has her back turned towards him and she's kind of like walking in this direction away from him. I feel like this is you walking away from that energy. And even like, I don't know if this is lightning. Kind of looks like just the sunlight here kind of in her face. But I'm feeling that it's almost like near her third eye, right? Like having that enlightenment and moving towards the light. She's a very gentle energy. She's a very caring energy. She's very loving. She's intuitive. She really prefers peace and she's highly emotionally intelligent. So what I'm feeling from this and then these two cards together is that there may be a tendency here. I'm feeling like maybe it's for you. It might be for your partner, so take it as it resonates. But there might be a tendency here to have some like gloating energy or some like, haha, I won, like you were wrong. I'm almost seeing it as like childish, kind of like an immature gloating energy of like, I was right and you were wrong. So it could be in this bickering, maybe this truth comes through and it is the case that like one of you guys was more quote right and one of you was more wrong. I feel like the Queen of Cups is you embodying like your inner grace and your inner, like your dignity. She feels very dignified to me and very peaceful and sort of respecting the dignity of this situation and both of you guys involved, even if one of you was wrong, right? So let's say, for example, that it's like your relationship partner who was kind of more, in the wrong, quote, quote, right? You kind of being self-possessed enough to forgive that person, give them grace, understand where they were coming from and not rub it in their face. I'm almost feeling like maybe this is like a third person who kind of gives you guys clarity. Like, I don't know, it could even be like through social media, something that you guys see, or like maybe one of you speaks to a friend and they mention something and you're like, oh my goodness, that's exactly the situation that we're like stuck in right now. I almost feel like that could be for some of you the way that this enlightenment is coming in, that sort of Knight of Swords moment. And then you kind of share it with each other and it kind of brings you to this transformation. But I'm really feeling that, like, don't be the Five of Swords to each other. That's such a dirty, stinky, like ego energy. And it's very unkind, right? It's like, it's like taking from each other. It's like trying to win some energy or like benefit by being the most right or whatever, right? Instead of valuing the connection, healing the connection, forgiving each other, recognizing that whoever was more right or more wrong, like both of you had your perspectives, right? From your life experience, from the way that you experienced the situation. Maybe your partner was having a bad day, right? And they just experienced the situation differently than they might have otherwise. So just really being like kind, focusing on that love, focusing on reconnecting, and giving each other a lot of grace. Like a lot of grace. That's really beautiful. All right. What else do you want to say here for advice for this collective, God? The Queen of Wands. I feel like that's some of that fiery, passionate energy that I was talking about again with the rabbits, except maybe a little bit easier to see in the form of the Fire Queen. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, if you're in this collective, maybe that resonates as a way of like working some of that energy out, is just physically connecting with each other. That was like a huge chunk. The Lovers, the King of Pentacles, the Sun, the Ace of Swords, the Eight of Wands, and the Moon. Wow. Let's see if I can try and make room for all those guys. I've been following my intuition a little bit more lately around when big chunks fall out like that. These are some fabulous cards. I feel like this has been happening lately where I'll get a big chunk out and it's like the best cards in the deck. Like if I had personally taken them and like even the Six of Wands here at the bottom, man, I feel like whoever's in this collective, you cannot lose right now. Let me just say that. Like that doesn't mean go out and spend $1 million on lottery tickets, but holy cow, the energy that is here supporting you with this, I feel like, sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place because I'm like bouncy. This energy feels very bouncy. It feels like boing, 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 boing. Like, I don't know. It feels like happy little bunny rabbits boinging through a field like in the springtime or something. Boing, 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 boing. So sorry, I'm a little scattered. I feel like I'm totally mirroring this energy right now. We had another reading at some point. This was weeks ago around this Five of Wands squabbling energy. I don't know if anyone will even remember what reading that was, but if you do, this one might be connected to that if you very strongly felt like you were in that collective. Okay. So we have this Queen of Wands. Really all I'm feeling from her is that she's a hot commodity and there's going to be some very intimate physical reconnection happening here with this. But yes, I feel like if I were to put together the cards of the tarot and like hand pick which ones I would want for like a reading, this would be like a significant number of them, plus this Four of Wands over here, plus this Six of Wands on the bottom of the deck. So the Lovers is very much, you know, I'm really reading this, like I said at the beginning, this still feels very much like a love connection to me. For the majority of you. Again, this could be some squabbling inside your head that you're kind of doing with yourself, but maybe you're going to unite in a loving way with like other parts of yourself. Who knows? But this card, I mean, come on, like this is that steamy romance is so beautiful. It's like that beautiful healing light just pouring down on the two of them. And I just love how he's like lifting her up. That feels very much to me like the message I was getting from the Five of Swords and the Queen of Cups, that it doesn't matter who was right or wrong in this squabble, right? Your job, it feels like, if you choose to accept it, your job in a divine partnership is to lift each other up, right? It is to be supportive regardless of the difficulties that you guys are going through, right? Like this feels like a partnership where it's really healthy and you are willing to work things out with each other and to be able to like value how precious that is, right? There are many partnerships where there's not this level of honesty and of connectedness. And it feels like that is present here and that it's really precious. So maybe even just a reminder to you that that's what you have with this person if you're in this collective, right? You guys are lifting each other up into that healing, and by doing that for each other, it heals both of you and it heals your connection. It's really beautiful. The King of Pentacles, he's just, I am hearing he has everything that he needs. I feel like I often hear that with the Nine of Pentacles, so I'm channeling that a bit with him. Like, he is a divine masculine. He is actualized in terms of his ability to physically manifest on the earth. And I feel like it gives him great confidence that he knows he has the things, the tools that he needs, the skills that he needs to create everything that he desires on the earth. And that includes his divine partnership, his divine relationship. For me, it's twin flames. This feels like a very twin flames reading. With the Lovers card here and the Four of Wands. It's beautiful. The Sun is one of the most joyful cards in the whole deck. Just the success, the freedom, the light kind of shining in. It's the light of the sun is the light that's glinting off of his sword here, right? It's the light of truth. It's kind of illuminating whatever this squabbly energy is, right? Whatever the plug is in your energy pipe. So that when he comes in and slices the pipe and you guys can take out whatever's plugging it up and repair that pipe, then the energy can flow, right? It flows freely. There's nothing there kind of plugging it up anymore. So it's kind of helping you to success, to freedom, to illumination, by just shining a light on it, shining that light of truth, right? The Ace of Swords, we already talked about that. That's so funny. It came back just like that clarity, right? That complete clarity. The Eight of Wands here feels like that free-flowing forward movement to me. So this would be like once that that clog is taken out of the pipes of this relationship, and you sort of like shoot those wands through, which would be like turning on the water, and the water is just freely flowing through those pipes, and the energy is just flowing, and there's like nothing kind of stopping it or making it slow or anything like that. This feels like, it's so funny. It feels like this energy of this is like a small squabble, but the benefits that you guys gain from it are like ridiculous. It's so powerful. It's so powerful to gain this level of healing from this level of squabbling energy. This is clearing like a huge block in your relationship. It's beautiful. And the Moon card, I feel like what it's reflecting for me is just going deep. That this is causing you and your partner to go deep into your emotions. And even the fact that I keep talking about a pipe and a clog in a pipe, right? And like the flowing water. Water is the emotions. That's what it represents in the tarot deck. Like these two are up to their hips in the water and the emotions. Like the moon here is represented by the water, like that watery energy. The Queen of Cups is holding that like cup of water. It's very healing for you. I think for both of you personally, it's very deeply healing. And for your relationship, it's very deeply healing. I see you working through whatever this is as like bringing you up to the next level of your like ascension spiral, both as individuals and as a couple, like in a union. The Six of Wands is victory. I feel like it's just further confirmation of like all of this energy here. And it's like public victory, public acclaim, where maybe you guys learning this somehow helps you. So maybe you have like a friend a couple months from now who's going through something similar, and you're able to share with them like what you learned from this situation, right? And kind of catapult them into further healing. It feels like, what is that thing? Oh gosh, I'm going to forget the name. Is it Rube Goldman? Those machines where you like put a marble down and then it just sets off like this chain of events, where like little things are spinning around and little like hammers are knocking on things and bells are going off. And I feel that like that you guys healing this one little thing is setting off this chain reaction of healing, like flowing from you, that you're like not even aware of the things that are going to be set off because of your healing. It's like a really, really cool feeling. I would almost say it feels like dominoes falling, but that's more of like a singular line. I'm feeling this as it starts as a singular point and then sort of like radiates and like grows exponentially, right? Kind of the influence of this energy. That's awesome. I feel like that's the best row. I've been saying this a lot lately. Maybe it's always the best reading, but this feels like the best reading. Like that row is incredible. And I just looked at the bottom, the Ace of Wands. Like I can't even accidentally look at a bad card right now. This is huge. It's a little squabbly thing and it turns into the hugest healing. Okay, seriously? I promise you guys, like everything, every single card is here. There's nothing that I've taken out of here. If you know anything about tarot, you know this is like the most insane reading. We have the Nine of Cups. I feel like the only thing we're missing right now is actually physically having the Six of Wands on the table and the Star. Who else are missing? The Two of Cups. I mean, there's like a couple of cards that I would add here. Anyways, the Nine of Cups is an energy of your wishes come true. It's kind of allowing, I feel like it's an allowing energy because this is a minor arcana card, right? So I feel like I need to pause and say this. This is very important. This situation that's happening for you is a minor arcana driven situation. What that means is this is something that you're going through that it's just kind of like a normal daily thing in your life. It's not going to feel like it's some sort of massive thing like, you know, moving or divorcing or getting a new job. It's not that energy. It literally feels like what I had said before about the other Five of Wands reading a couple months ago, where it's like arguing over, you know, someone left their coat on the floor, or whose turn is it to put away the dishes, or kind of like mundane seeming everyday stuff. The rewards that the universe wants to bring you for working through this with your partner are massive. So it's more like the incoming side that's driven by God, basically wanting to bring you so much good stuff. But I feel like you're in a position where you can choose to work through this and kind of accept it and accept these gifts, or you can choose not to work through this, right? And you can huff off and be mad at your partner because they didn't put the dishes away again, right? And you just be exasperated with them. So I feel like that's kind of the choice that you're making here is, are you going to have an open heart and have an open mind and kind of be willing to find the truth in this situation, right? And heal to a place of greater love? Or are you going to say, well, I'm right and they're in the wrong and I'm just going to huff off and be mad at them? Because this energy is like the universe will let you make that free will choice, right? That's your choice to make. But the energy is saying, if you choose to dive into this and heal this, this is what we can bring to you, right? This is the gifts that the universe wants to provide for you. The Nine of Cups, I was feeling that because it's that minor arcana card. That's funny that I just said major. It does feel like a big energy to me in this reading. I feel like it's about you being willing to receive these gifts. The example that's coming to me is, let's say again, that it's like putting away the dishes or, you know, emptying the dishwasher. But let's say you as my viewer are actually the person in the wrong. You may, at the end of this, all right, so this is your partner after you've worked through this, had out this argument or bickering or whatever. This is your partner basically saying, you're wrong and I love you anyways. And I just am going to keep pouring out this love for you and we're going to heal together and you're like perfectly imperfect to me, right? That's kind of the energy that I get from this. If you have even an inkling of unworthiness in your soul, I feel like it's going to be really hard for you to receive this beautiful energy. because it's so good. It's so pure and it's so full of love and power. It's like a dreams come true energy. So I feel like what's sticking out to me is him with the cup uplifted. Cups in tarot represent the emotions, right? We talked about that with the water. So you can kind of imagine these filled with water, but do you see how he's making that gesture of lifting it up? I feel like he's telling God, God, I choose to let you to fill my cup with like every good thing that you want to fill it with, right? He's kind of making that choice. He's toasting to God. He's saying, you know what, God, I really messed up in this situation, but I choose to let you in anyways. I choose to let you love me. It's okay that I made a mistake. I'm human. I don't have to be perfect, right? It's okay for me to learn my lessons, and actually screwing up and learning the lesson and healing from it is perfection. That is perfection. I think sometimes we have a view of perfection as meaning like you never mess up and you never make a mistake. And that simply is not attainable. We are human. We all make mistakes constantly. Like, I can think of multiple things that I've done even during this reading that I'm like, wow, I could have said that differently, or I'm going to rewatch this and maybe I'll wish that I said this like this. But at the end of the day, right, you just do the best you can and you show up and you learn your lessons, and that's okay. That's perfect. So being willing, I think, even if you were the one in the wrong and you're like cringing, right? And you're like so embarrassed about how petty you were, right? And how kind of like unloving you were in this situation. And then your wonderful partner is lifting you up and saying, you know what? You were kind of a mess today and I love you anyways, right? Wow, like if there's any unworthiness in you, I feel like it's going to get really triggered. So just being willing to hold that cup out to God, right? And say, God, I messed up, but I am still worthy of receiving everything. Making mistakes is okay, and it does not in any way impact how worthy I am and how much good I deserve to receive. So I choose to let you fill up my cup. And I feel like God is going to fill up your cup with all of this like delicious energy. So beautiful. I feel like we may have like one or two more cards. Yeah. I had a feeling there was like one more energy out of alignment with love that needed to come up here. So the Three of Swords is, I feel like this is talking about what I just said. So I feel like God's just reinforcing that message. The Three of Swords is this energy of betrayal, right? Of heartbreak. And judgment is, I just love judgment. It's that energy of rebirth, of reincarnation, in the traditional tarot, it's people who are dead and their bodies are sort of like this weird gray color, right? Because they used to be dead. And I think it's Archangel Gabriel who has the trumpet behind them, and he's like calling out with his trumpet. And these bodies are basically like raising from the dead. So it's like a second life, a second chance. It's a chance to be reborn, right? It's like a karmic cycle that has died or ended, and now you're able to sort of resurrect free from that energy. I feel like this healing, again, which feels like it's around such a petty, everyday little thing, if you just kind of give it the space and consideration to heal it instead of huffing off and being like pissy about it, you have a chance to completely like free yourself and your relationship from this heartbreak energy, from this betrayal energy. And I feel like it's about showing up and being real in a really loving way, right? I'm seeing both of you, so these angry squawking birds, right, coming together and saying like, I feel, frustrated that I'm having to put the dishes away again. And this person saying like, yeah, I can see that you're frustrated. This was my situation today, or this is how I felt about it. And this, kind of this like back and forth of just sharing your perceptions, your thoughts, your feelings, right? In kind of like a calm conversational way. And just how healing that is, you guys. It's like really beautiful, really beautiful. Giving each other tons of grace and space, right? Nobody's rubbing each other's nose and being wrong. And giving the universe, giving God the chance to fill up your cup with this beautiful energy of that free-flowing movement, that success, that freedom, that joy, that connection, that passion, right? That love that you have for each other, the healing, and kind of going deeper into your connection and building together like your heaven on earth, right? Your ideal kind of 10 of Pentacles relationship on the earth and what you want that to look like. And just letting it really be joyful. That is the coolest random reading ever. Like I did not expect this energy at all. This is one of those ones where, again, I just feel delighted and honored that I've been able to channel this energy because it's really, really, really beautiful. There's the potential for huge healing for you here. If you just approach this situation with some love and some logic, it's really lovely. I feel like pulling a twin flame card. Get another card or two, and then I'm going to head out on some adventures, and I hope that you guys also enjoy whatever you are going to be up to after listening to this. Do you have any other messages for this collective? There's a lot. All right. Clearing karma, Kundalini activation. Literally what I just said about the judgment card, cleaning this karmic cycle. And the Kundalini activation is 1,000,000% the busy bunny and the passionate Queen of Wands energy. We have King, divine masculine. Yes, I feel that energy here of being compassionate and respectful to your divine masculine and him just lifting you up like that and completely accepting you for like everything that you are. It's so beautiful. Surrender, yes. Have compassion, yes. Masculine twin flame, yes. I'm feeling this as a twin flame connection. And I'm so, this card to me is the most emotional one on the table. I feel like this man lifting up and supporting this woman, kind of regardless of how angry or how silly or how emotional or how cranky she's been about this situation, just him completely accepting and loving her and still choosing to lift her up is like so beautiful. Unification, yes, I talked about that, right? Aligning with abundance, that's the abundance of the King of Pentacles, it's the abundance of the Nine of Cups, it's the abundance of this entire row of cards. Unification, coming closer together within your union. And then the last one that came out is the twin flame card. It says 1111 twin flame. Everything is possible. This is like the most beautiful reading. I really hope that you guys will listen to this and dive into this situation with your partner with so much love and patience and compassion. I really see you guys talking through this, and it's just catapulting your union to like a whole other level. It's really beautiful energy. I hope that this was helpful. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment if you feel called to do so, as all of those things help me as I'm growing my channel. Happy healing, you guys. Really, really happy healing to you, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye.